Grant, I have your Module 2 project, so let's look at it here together. All right, here's the template you turned in. Let's see. Oh, looks like you chose option 1, where you got create a wish list, find the prices and stuff. Think about what user input is required for other people to use your program, right? So whatever my wish list is or whatever, uh, think about how you will write an equation to calculate the subtotal, the tax, total purchase cost with tax and shipping. We're going to use 6.5% and $5.99 flat rate shipping. Output must include name of each item with the price, the subtotal, total tax, shipping fee, total purchase cost with tax and shipping. All right. We didn't choose option 2, option 3. So let's see. Design of our program, ask the user for at least 3 numeric values. Okay, so when I run the program, it's going to have me type in at least 3 things that are numbers. Some people have written this program to where they type in their own wish list. So then I would, what's the first item you want? I would type that in. What's the cost of that item? Then I would type a number. Some people did more than 3 because they had people enter their own wish list, which is a nice option. Use enter or float. Calculations required to achieve the output. That'd be like the tax and the subtotal, total stuff. Uh, well organized output. Use the string function so you can print numbers on the same line as letters. See, here's your pseudocodes. Okay, items already selected. All right, so I'm not entering my own. That's okay. I can enter prices or whatever. Tax rate is 6.5%. Shipping with $5.99. Tally up the items. Add them up. The cost before tax, which is subtotal. Add the tax. 6.5% subtotal. Great. Gives you the extra cost by taxes. Then add the subtotal tax shipping fee. Oh, this is wonderful. This is good pseudocode. List out each item's price, subtotal, tax, shipping, total cost. Nice. All right. Code the program. Use Python idle. Comments with your heading, name, date, and description. Make sure you have things properly indented, like inside your main function. You got to indent that stuff. And meaningful names. So let's, here's your, the hashtag's up there. So I'll make sure and get that. Okay. I don't see the end of your main function there. And this is not Python idle. Python idle does not have a black background. So I hope yours works in Python idle because that's where all of our programs have to be written at. And let's see your questions. Parentheses, trial and error. You don't know how you can get any feedback and ways to improve it? Well, this was a feedback program right here. So this video will help give you some feedback to make the user do as much work. Oh, so am I going to have to do a bunch of stuff when I run this program? I don't know. All right, let's go over to see what it makes me do. So when I paste it in this Python idle window, let's see what all it makes me do when I run it. It didn't make me do anything. So now I don't understand this. Don't make the user do as much work. All I had to do was hit run. It didn't have me enter anything. It didn't have me enter prices or, nothing. And the output looks really strange. Wish list items, item name, item price, 2F. Item name, item price, 2F. Subtotal is subtotal 2F. Tax 6.5%, tax 2F. Shipping fee, 2F. Total purchase cost, total cost 2F. I don't know what all these 2Fs are, and I don't see anything that's useful. Well, let's take a look at your code here. Okay, you've used an items with a list of things. That's great. We're going to be studying lists later. I may have you talk about your list then and kind of present how that works because you're already using that, so you're ahead of us on lists. Find your tax rate. So tax rate, you do have the 6.5%, the $5.99 shipping. Subtotal, sum item price for item and items. So you're using this list up here, but again, the item price should be something that the user's inputting or something. They got to input numbers. Subtotal time the tax rate. Total cost of subtotal plus tax plus shipping. Print the results. Print wish list items for items and items. Again, you're using a for loop. So you're kind of ahead there. That's what we just learned this week was for loops. But print F item name item price 2F. Hey, that's exactly what it printed. You got it in quotes. That's why it printed that, because that's what you told it to print. You said, print this exactly. And it did 3 times because there was 3 items in your items list. So it printed that 3 times. And then you told it to print subtotal 2F, and it did. There it is. Then you told it to print tax 6.5 tax 2F, and it did. Shipping fee 2F. So that's why it printed that, because that's exactly what you told it to print. So there's some big errors there. It does not produce the expected results. I expected to see items and prices. I expected to enter prices or something. I expected to see a subtotal and tax money. I don't see any of that. And I don't see where you started your program. Define main. And then your main function would run. You don't have every program we run. We mention this every time we start with a define main, to where we know where because pretty soon after the second semester, we're going to be defining other functions. So we're going to be using more than just the main function. So our main function is all we've used up to this point, and you're missing that. You don't have the main function, and what you're doing is not working. So no input statements at all. The user doesn't have to do anything. A lot of problems here when you go to run it. A lot of errors in that it's not producing what you expect it to produce. So that's a logic error when you look at it and it says item name, item price 2F. That's a logic error because that does not produce what the program is supposed to produce. So if you're struggling with that, you need to go look at our lessons and see how print statements work. That was our very first program I actually wrote back in September. But we've used print statements in every program, and now you don't know how to use one, apparently. This looks like something that could have been written by AI, quite honestly. And a lot of times, if I believe this 100% AI, it'll get a 0. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that, okay, well, maybe you wrote some of this, but don't know how to do it in Python idle. So that template is the parameters. If you're a programmer, let's say you got a government contract or you're working for a company, you're a programmer, they're like, okay, here's our parameters. Here's what the program must have. User's got to be able to enter theirs. Yours has no value to a user because, well, first of all, it didn't show anything. Even if it showed what it's supposed to show, it still has no value because I didn't enter any prices. I didn't have anything to do. It just prints what it wants to print, and it prints it every time. It doesn't change. If I found something on sale and wanted to enter a different value to see what my cost was, couldn't do it. Doesn't have that in there. So you got to think about those things. And it says use Python idle. So think about it. If we're at a company, we're saying, okay, here is the software that our customers have. So this is what we must write our program in. There's a reason in programming, everything is about the details. It has to be specifically the way it's laid out. So when you go off doing something, you're writing in some other Python or finding programs on the internet that's written in a different version of Python, they don't work here. That's because we have Python idle. That's what our users have that we expect for a company or a government agency, that this is the software our users have. So we're writing a program for them to be able to use. All right, I'll get this feedback to you. Have a great holiday weekend, holiday week, and we'll see you in December.